Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the exciting adventures of being in a pit. Ishi, you are currently undergoing Han Solo treatment, right? This is the like,
The off screen,
yeah.
like ah,
Oh, I think you'll tell us everything you know as you get lowered
yeah, of
down onto
course.
whatever the fuck that device was.
But
Like it's
like,
just like a bed covered in sharp spikes.
but
Why?
like
Why in that
sparking
scene?
computer chips or
Yeah.
whatever.
Why in that scene did Han Solo not return to Chewbacca with like puncture wounds all over the front of him? Because it really looked like Vader was just lowering him onto a bed of hypodermic needles. I don't know. I don't listen. Things George Lucas never explained to us. I bet you
I
it's in the
mean,
extended
when you
universe
do
somewhere.
like what's that needle acupuncture? Do you have little holes in your skin afterward?
No, but these are big. These are like big honking like medical props. Look at the torture table from Empire. It's nasty.
Okay.
It's nasty stuff.
Also, the screams that Han Solo is making, clearly it's not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, and that's the scene that we get. I wonder where they would take you to.
They just removed all of his midichlorians.
Oh, you. Oh shit! They filled him with anti-midichlorians. Okay, so Ishi, I will take you. They take you to the lab.
The lab.
To work on you.
I'm keeping my eye out, Adam.
Yeah. So you're led through, and this is just for we don't see this on screen. This is just for me telling Elf. So you're led through the scary chamber of the Night Serpent, and you're led down through the poop shoveling room that you were in, the shovelarium, and then they take you through the big blood soup Conan the Barbarian homage chamber.
Oh, the delicious room. Okay.
Yeah, the soup chamber, and then south from there. So you're taken south down into this other room where they're working on all kinds of scary experiments. So we'll come back to you in a second. All that stuff will happen off screen. Meanwhile, it's slave duty for someone else because they can't not work. So can I get a D6 roll from Malik and Arcturus, please? Who's gonna win? Whose turn is it to get work? Oh, look at that! You're gonna get taken out of your hole.
Yay!
All right, make a roll, please, and see what you and your friends get tasked with doing.
What roll?
D100, please.
We're gonna do 96.
96. Okay. Look at that. It's more poop scooping. There's
Seriously?
a lot of no. It's not.
Oh.
It'd be pretty intense if the table was 3 to
Poop
96. They have a lot of poop to scoop here.
Everyone scoops.
Look, the the Triceratops is just having a very hard time.
Okay.
Oh no.
So, you are brought up because one of the unconscious prisoner.
So not Sven or whatever his name is.
The unconscious prisoner has died.
Oh no.
So they bring you up back into the room, and there's a bunch of brood guard. And so they bring you up into the room, and you get a look at everybody attached to your chain.
Oh dear.
So there are three people. There is an olive skinned young man, with bright green eyes, covered in like his chest and his neck and his arms are all covered in like deep scratches, and he's got like scars underneath the scratches too, and like some of them look like they've gotten infected from the water. And he's just like scratching at himself. As soon as they let him free, he tries to like peel his own skin off, basically. Like he's grabbing himself and like grab him and put him in manacles, and he just keeps looking at you, and he's like, the serpent within, I have to let it free. And he looks at you like, please, a knife, anything, something. And then they like smack him, like, quiet you, and he like turns away. Looking at him concernedly is a man who looks like he used to be like quite beefy, but he is atrophied. He's been here a long time. This is the source of the voice, and he's wearing a like loose, filthy like cotton not robes, but like a tunic and trousers that are cut off at the knees. And he has hair that is probably like used to be like quite nice, like cut well and like kind of like curly, but is like a sort of natty like mess, starting to form dreadlocks that are like dirty and unkempt. He has very dark skin, and he looks at you and he says in his like this husky voice, he's like sees you looking at. What's the look on your face when you look at Sev, the person that was looking for like a knife?
It's like, I think that like seeing the wounds and the like behavior, Arcturus probably goes into like a concerned like medical kind of thing. I would actually love to like make a medicine check.
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Just like see what I can tell from looking at this guy. Would it be like normal or?
Yeah, make a medicine check.
Um.
All you can tell is the wounds are self-inflicted. You don't see any sign of like anything else. It's not lupus.
Yeah. So it's just there's a bit of like curiosity, and then like concern, and then like pity.
Yeah. So yeah, when you that's the look on your face, and this very dark-skinned, formerly like muscly person looks at you, and he shakes his head, and he says, "There's nothing you can do for Sev now."
Right. So is it and I like clear my throat and look at the brood guard and what's his butt. Is this, shall we be fed then, or?
So I mean, there is a third person, right?
Oh, right. You said they were. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
there's another person on the chain. Let me just see. I think I have a proper name. It's here we go. Okay. So this person has a they have dark skin too, but it's not they're not from here. It's like a mahogany color, not the kind of like deep like Chulton dark skin. So it's like a person with like a mahogany skin. They look like they have like a nasty wound. He's not wearing a shirt. And there's like a really gross like weeping wound on his side, like he was stabbed with a sword or a spear, and it looks like he's succumbed to the wound.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah. And
So yeah, they pull us out, and then like
the man looks and
feet,
sees
and the
this other guy
one-
gets dragged out and thrown on the ground, this corpse, and the man you've been talking to, he shakes his head and he says, "Poor Lamar," and he says something in a Chulton dialect that you recognize as like a prayer, basically like crossing himself kind of thing. And the brood guard like smacks him, and he says, "Enough." And the Malison that's here, like looking at all of you, says, "There is a task for you." I look at the corpse, and he says, "Pick that up."
All right. And I like look around a little bit, and I've got like my manacles on. I'm like, rather difficult, you know.
And the UNT doesn't care. Your friend crouches down to pick up to help you, and he says,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think he says anything. He just like he's sad because this other person died, and helps the two of you like kind of pick up the corpse, which is incredibly heavy. And he says, "Come on, this way," and leads you through the halls. So
I'm doing the same thing Ishi did, keeping my eye out to see if we pass anything useful or whatever.
dragging the corpse with you. You and your friends take a long but familiar path through the blood chamber, through that chamber, and then I think they would take you south.
South through the blood chamber?
Yeah, south through here.
Okay.
And then through chamber 14.
Hey, Ishi.
Yeah, Ishi's unconscious. I will describe what you see.
Oh
So
no.
You drag this body into this room, and we see the room. Obviously, Ishi is like post torture. So I'll describe it for you, and you see this, and maybe I don't know, maybe you think the worst, but the room that you walk into is, let's see. The air, this is great. The air in here is moist and sticky. There is some natural light spilling from cracks in the ceiling, and mud coats the floor. Stone workbenches are laden with clay bottles of various shapes and sizes. Toadstools, snake roots, and belladonna plants grow amid the clutter, fed by water seeping from above. Standing near the plants, I think maybe you see someone with like a pair of like scissors, like making cuttings from the plants. Standing there is a hairless man with scaly skin and a bronze, I guess, pair of bronze scissors. Lurking near the shadows, you see 5 slouching humans that stink of decay.
Ugh.
And then lying on one of the tables, you see Ishi Snaggletooth.
No, Ishi.
Yeah. So you get led through this like room.
If we're being, are we passing through or are we stopping here?
You're passing through. There's a door on the other side.
While we pass through, I whisper at Ishi.
Are you casting a healing word at me?
Yeah, I just say feel better soon.
Okay, let me see if they notice and try to interrupt you from casting a spell.
It's just verbal.
Yes, yeah.
So I can do it even with my hands full. I made sure to check.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want Ishi to be all tortured and hurt.
Sure, yeah. Okay, let's see. Wisdom check. Okay. So you start to like pray for Ishi, and the Wanti with you like hits you like across the back.
Okay, so you don't get.
You can make a concentration check, I think, to see if you can finish the prayer.
Finish?
Yeah.
Okay, concentration.
Yeah, like make a Constitution save.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I'm able to get it out even though I'm hit in the face.
Okay. So Ishi, you get the 4 HP.
So you're not unconscious anymore, but you can still pretend.
I'm definitely going to pretend. The circumstance requires it.
So you and your friends are led out into this chamber down here. I'll open the door for you so you can see it. Boop. Oh, it might be dark for you down here. I don't think there's any natural light in here. Let me give you a torch. Okay, there you go. So you're led into a natural cavern. You're led into a cave.
Okay.
And the room is it's full of this water, this deep water, and there are a bunch of broodguard out here. You can see there are a couple of other tunnels that lead out, like over here and down here. And when you get in here, the Yuan-Ti that has led you says give him here, and gestures for you like to like drop the corpse, or like put him down.
Fine.
Okay.
I'm
So
attached to carrying corpses.
So the Yuan-Ti bends down, picks up the guy's arm, takes out his knife, and starts hacking the guy's arm off at the elbow.
Oh, is this truly necessary?
And he hisses at you like, quiet, and like chunk, 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 and like chops the guy's arm off, and it's dripping blood, and he hurls it into the water, where it floats, spreading blood, and then bloop sinks down into the water.
So sorry for your friend.
Yeah, I mean this guy is just staring in like fear.
Yeah.
And you wait, and the broodguard are all staring at the water like, oh, so exciting! Like whatever's gonna happen is gonna be rad. And you hear a sound, quiet at first, the rushing of water, and drawn by the blood to feeding time. First you see a single crest of a green scaly like fin come out of the water, then another, and eventually the Hydra raises up out of the water, its head's flailing, and the Yuan-Ti they all kind of back off nervously, but like that kind of like amusement park ride kind of nervous. So they're like, I'm scared, but this is fun. And the Yuan-Ti in charge looks up at the Hydra and then gestures at the body, and then its heads snap forth and just start tearing apart the corpse.
Ugh.
And you're like
Does it look injured still?
you're still no, it's fine. They regenerate like crazy. You're still chained to the corpse. So like you're getting pulled around. You have to like hold back while it's getting like yanked on. You get covered in blood. And the Hydra tears apart the corpse in a matter of moments, swallowing chunks of it. Again, all off screen. We just see like the shadow of the Hydra kind of like grabbing at the body, and then we see the three of you covered in blood. Sev is looking up at the Hydra in awe. Your friend is kind of like looking away in disgust and fear. What is your response to all this?
I'm like nervously looking around, like trying to like keep my hands out of the Hydra's several mouths and like looking at the like out of the corners of my eyes, because my eyes are straight on the Hydra, obviously, like looking at the brood guard, trying to make sure that we're not next, I guess. Yeah.
And the Yuan-Ti looks at you and he says, "This is what happens when we run out of use for you. Remember that." And he grins, big snaky face.
Yes, well, as I said, I'm quite useful. And like Arcturus is just not able to like make a good joke or whatever, clever thing.
Yeah.
Is there I guess I'm glancing around to try and see if there's like more light coming from down the hallways that I can see.
You can see what you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just shitty.
Right. Okay. All right. So that's what Arcturus is up to. Let's see what task Malik gets put to. So Malik.
I was going to ask, actually.
Yeah.
While everybody was out of the room.
Yep.
I don't know what bonked on my head. I was never told.
That's right. Yeah. Do you want to try to like
for it?
fish for it? Okay. So yeah, something fell on your head and splashed in the water. So we cut back to that, and this is like several minutes ago. This is before everybody else gets dragged away. Make a. It's like it's invisible, and you're feeling around with it with your bare feet in the water. Make an acrobatics check, I think. Yeah, I think that's like because trying to like stretch and like use your feet to pick. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's
Sleight of
right.
foot. I mean, I think acrobatics is just like bending and stretching. So.
Yeah, I don't have any luck left because we've not had an actual rest. It's just been time passing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, something is down there, but you couldn't, like, maybe we get because it's dark, you can't see where you're going. Maybe we see you, like, the edge of your toe touch it, but you do that thing where you, like, accidentally push it away. It's like, you can't get it.
I say to everyone, I think my friend dropped something down here. I can't get it. Not tall enough. Leg's not long enough.
You say that you're like, I'm not tall enough, and your companion laughs, and he says, well, I'm not going to be of any use to you. What's the deal with this, like, slimy boy?
Honestly. Work it out.
roll.
I can't do somatic components with my hands.
No, not with your hands bound. No. Wave your arms around. Make a D100 roll. Let's see what they bring you up to do.
Okay. 35.
35. Okay. All right. Let's see. So that's area. I'm just gonna check where you get taken to. Area 35, area 13. Okay. So you and your friend are dragged up from the pit, and you get your first kind of good look at your little companion here. And of course, I have a handout.
Dun dun
I have a
dun.
handout for this boy. Minus the sword and the shield and the belt. This is what your little
He's
friend
like
looks like.
cute.
Yeah.
I love him.
So, yeah, it's like a transparent, semi-transparent orange and red
Okay.
salamander boy. You can see his semi-gelatinous bone structure and his fiery vein. Though he's like quite dim now. He hasn't bathed himself in lava in some time. So, you get pulled up out of the pit, and he kind of flops to the ground, and he looks at you, and in Draconic he says, "A shame you have to see me this way. I'm much more majestic, I promise. I've just been down here too long." And then your handlers, the brood guard, pick you up and push you along. So you and Gorvax, your friend, get taken down to that same intersection, all the way down here. But this time you're taken this way and down this diagonal hall into what looks like a storage room of some kind. I'll read you the description of this room.
Okay.
So, let's see here. This is room 13. Okay, so for you, Malik, yeah, it's stacks of sturdy wood crates, bundles of cloth, and clay amphora litter the floor. There is an enormous snake, a giant constrictor, in the room, kind of like laying amongst the barrels and the crates, and it looks up when you and your friend are brought in here, and it speaks. It speaks in accented common to the Yuan-Ti. It says, "These are the ones who are going to help me clean up this place." And the Yuan-Ti nods. "Yes, Hazimas." And the snake says, "They don't look too strong, but I suppose we lost the strong one to the jungle. Very well. You may go." And it tips its head, and the Yuan-Ti nod to it and leave. And it says, "As you can see, slaves, the room has become untidy. I lack the digits to remedy this." And kind of gestures with his head "Go ahead, begin."
I can't very well lift anything with my hands like this.
And it looks down at the manacles and says, "Those who came before you did just fine. I think not, sorcerer. You stay bound. Make do."
Right. Well, where do you want everything to go?
And he looks and says, "The room has become untidy. The brood guard care not for order like I do. Arrange them pleasingly along the walls so that they may be accessed more readily."
All right. Well, I'll make a start.
Okay. All right. So you start to clean up. It's not that hard, right? You're just picking up the boxes and putting them up on piling them up and finding stuff that belongs together, and they're all relatively well labeled. The place contains equipment, right? Stuff you'd find in an explorer's pack. You find cloth, and they have some raw metal. There's salt and spices, chests containing rope, lanterns, just supplies. It's a supply room.
That's good, because I love supplies. Potentially.
Is this when you push a crate over on top of the snake and kill it, and you're like, "Supplies, motherfucker"?
I would love to.
That's what I'd do.
Do you reckon they have any supplies of phosphorus?
No, they don't have spell components laying around for you to use.
What if they don't know their spell components?
Their leader is a spellcaster. He's got his own spell components elsewhere. No, I mean there isn't anything that you can necessarily like anything special you could dig for without being able to like break open the crates and like get in there.
Okay. I'll help. Instead, while we're working, I will talk to the snake.
Okay.
I'll be like, so why have you joined up with this guy? And just kind of make some more talk. Try and ingratiate myself a little bit.
Yeah, make a persuade roll.
Let's become friends with Snake. Friends with Snake.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Ozzy Moss, the giant, seemingly intelligent, uplifted constrictor, it seems eager for conversation. Yeah, it isn't a like quiet worm, back to work. He just lazily like flops around the room, moving out of the way occasionally for you to pick up a box. But if you want to talk, yeah, he's happy to like chat with you. So yeah, what did you say?
I was asking him, like why he was working with Russ and C.
Right.
I think I kind of go with the angle of like, well, I did offer to join forces with him, but then he decided, I don't know, he didn't like the look of my friends, and he started fighting with them, and I was like, okay, fine. I just defended myself. And,
So yeah, he says, before I was blessed with speech, I dwelt alone. I remember eggs, hatchlings, but all a distant memory across the shore of my awakening. When I learned that I saw this world more like a man, I sought out others. Unfortunately, I seem to be alone in the world, unique in my way. These Yuan Ti are the closest I can find to kin. Their worship of the night serpent pleases me. Perhaps she had a hand in my changing.
well, the one in charge at the moment doesn't seem very pious. No, there are other ones here.
You
what do I know?
speak, of course, of Fenthaza. Yes, I am aware she desires a regime change. Did she bring you and your other failed assassin friends here to kill Rasen C for her?
No, we were stupid enough to come on our own.
We have that in common, then.
So you sort this place out, if any way you could go in the world.
Omu is a ruin, somewhere man has abandoned, full of scaled beasts. I felt it a place well enough to call home for now. I do not care who rules it, save that Ras and Sea keeps me fed. And like honestly, I don't know, like it's hard to imagine, but looking at Ozymas, like he's pretty fat. He's kind of a fat snake. Like you look back at the door, and it occurs to you that like maybe this big boy would have a hard time even getting out of this joint, let alone like he's like, no, I like it here in the storeroom. I could leave anytime I want. I'm not too fat to fit out the door. Fuck off. But yeah, like this is a snake that just has food brought to it and has not gone hunting in a ton. Like it's a big boy, big chubby snake. And yeah, and he just looks at you like, they keep me well fed.
What's through there behind you? Anybody in there?
Caverns, tunnels belonging to the Hydra.
Oh yes, the Hydra. We're acquainted as well.
I have always been of the mind that one head was enough.
I most certainly agree with you. It was barely using those other ones anyway.
Do you know what awaits you here in the Fane now that you've been captured?
Hopefully, a good set of benefits, some options for personal advancement through hard work, and
If I were to imagine your destiny, I might say, not strong enough for labor, but not fit for the harem either, I think. A bad end for you, I imagine.
well, more for them, I suppose, if they can't find a use for someone as magically gifted as I am.
The Yuan-Ti are jealous of their power. Ross and C would not see you as a valued lieutenant, but a threat. Outsiders often are this way, I've found.
Isn't he one as well? He mentioned not always having been a Yuan-Ti to begin with.
You do not know the story. It surprises me not. I think it is an embarrassment, a shame to Russ and Z.
Yes, well, he's only got a matter of time, hasn't he? Until, well, whatever it is that happens to everybody else happens. And then what will happen here?
Necromancer or no, the same thing happens to everyone in the end.
Now we'll see if we can outlast him. I don't. I could get you out of here, when I leave.
Why would I want to leave?
There's so much in the world that you don't know about. You've simply been in this jungle and then this single room in a dungeon.
I have no desire to explore.
No, I don't believe that for a second. I think everybody and everything, as soon as it's aware, has a yearning for knowledge at least.
Are all talking hairless apes so presumptuous? You would think to know my mind.
Well, if you get me my hat back, I could make sure that I have scales as well.
I see that. It does not make us kin.
No, I'm descended from greater beasts still. Whether there was one of those here.
And you can see you're starting to like annoy or frustrate him. His tail is like sort of waving back and forth, and he like knocks over a bunch of boxes that you had just stacked. And he looks at them and he says, "Oops, better clean that up."
I look around. The guards have like left, haven't they?
You don't see them in the hallway.
Oh, I can't fucking kill this snake.
You got one hit point.
I got one hit point and I can't actually.
Good fucking luck.
No, I need that. I need those somatic components. I can probably do it. All right. All right. Fine. I will presume no longer. I'm going to get on with this. Return to my prison.
Let's go back to
Leave
your
you-
labors just quietly. Okay.
Oh, yeah, the last word is like, I'll leave you. I'll go back to my prison. Leave you in yours. It's just like, fuck you. You're trapped here as well.
Okay. All right. So later, everyone has returned to the been returned to your pits. Let's have Ishi. Let's have you make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, wisdom.
Yeah. So you get taken to the lab, and they like inject you with stuff and poke you with things, and you get Han Solo'd. So we'll just make a wisdom save. Let's say DC 15.
Not Constitution for.
Well, it's wisdom to see. It's willpower, right? To resist, because they're torturing you to see if you'll be like, I stole the keys. Okay, put them in Malik's cell. So when we get back, we'll see if they're still there. That's all this really does.
Okay.
And also the whole like, dude, did you? Okay. So yeah, it's just too much. They probably use some kind of Yuan-Ti truth serum on you, and yeah, and you spill the beans. Noth retrieves his keys. You hazily remember being told that you would live to regret crossing him or some other supervillain bullshit, but everybody gets returned to their cells, and then left there. But you also hear everybody being brought to the cells, so you can talk and like re-engage with each other if you want. You have some time to like plot or whatever if you want.
Well, I had fun. I met a giant snake. How about the rest of you?
Great.
Yeah? Well, I couldn't get whatever you threw in with me. Go on now.
It was keys. They're gone now, probably.
Oh.
My clever plan to get out of here didn't actually turn out to do anything. I didn't see anything.
So what we're saying is all the plans haven't really worked out yet.
Can't do anything without my hands.
I mean, I can. Are you all right, Yushi?
Yeah, I'm fine.
And I turn to the person in my cage and I'm like, I'm truly sorry about your companions.
It's just quiet. The person is too like badly off to be able to respond.
At least Little Fox got away. I hope she made a mess.
I hope she comes back for us.
I'm sure she would if we're still here, but we should get out.
Well, I don't think that the Hydra's watery lair actually goes to anywhere outside, at least not that I saw. It just loops around.
Oh. Wait, you saw the Hydra?
Yes.
I got a bone to pick with that guy.
Well,
Thankfully, the Hydra has more bones
is
than most people.
significantly more repaired than we are at the moment.
Okay, well, any of you ever tried to sleep clinging to a chain? Because I think that's going to be hard.
I've never attempted it, no.
Okay, well, I tried to get out already. I don't have any other plans.
I wish I could feed you, but
I'm just
alas.
gonna wait for the next opportunity. It'll be fine. Something will present itself. And when it does, be ready. Next time something hits you on the head, maybe try and catch it with your hands. I don't know.
Yes. I'll try that. Yep. I don't have any plans. I don't think I can do anything.
I'm trying to think, because like the issue is that we can't get a long rest, so we can't get any of our hit points or resources back, so we can't really make a run for it or fight or try and get out.
I mean, I don't have a weapon. I'd be the most useless
But we can't even get hit points to try and obtain weapons, right? We would get like one hit knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a rule for like trying to get rest in a less than comfortable situation? Or
No, you
like,
can't. You can't sleep
you
like
just
chained
can't.
by your hands. Yeah, it's not.
Like not even like, I guess if you pass out from exhaustion, it's not really
Not really
sleep.
a long rest. No, like you can sleep in fits and starts that prevents you from taking the exhausted like condition. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, you won't be able to get a long rest in.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Unless something happens, I think we're stuck.
I'm just trying
Which is
to.
fine and fair. Like, we did this to ourselves, but I just can't think of anything.
I'm just trying to see if there's anything else I can know. Look, the only thing I can think of is if I get taken back out and I can distract them long enough, I can hide somewhere and then, sneak around while they're not looking. But it's not a good plan. It didn't work out for me last time I had a plan.
Hmm. And I turn to the person who's in the cell with me and I'm just like, so how long has this pit been, like, how long have you been here? Do you know?
I can no longer remember. Night and day are lost to me. Only service to the serpents.
At a certain point, I think one would go mad.
There's just like a dark chuckle. Like, yeah. Like our third friend, right? Like,
Yeah, like that guy.
yeah.
Oof. Well, perhaps one of our tasks will take us back to that snake woman. She might have some assistance.
It's a thin hope.
I don't.
Possible.
I mean, the only other thing I can do is make an awful lot of noise.
Just
You are quite
holding Nubub in my little hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to get out.
Nubub just like shakes his little head. No.
Okay.
All right. So,
I think we gotta wait it out. Yeah.
So, we go into the characters are enslaved montage, right? Like several days pass, and then a week, and then just enough time that we've lost track of it, right? Like you're forced to perform the various menial labors that the Yuan-Ti demand of you, visiting the storeroom to rearrange it, cleaning out the Yuan-Ti nests, mucking out the dinosaur pen. And every once in a while, someone is like you'll see more slaves come in and then get taken away and sacrificed. You hear, and that begins to be the prevailing narrative, right? People start to whisper like it's only a matter of time. The sacrifices begin to like happen more regularly. Sacrifices to the night serpent. And you sort of settle into your new lives of being slaves to the Yuan-Ti down here in the fane of the night serpent. They feed you sludge essentially, but they keeps you alive, and they give you water, and they let you sleep in your chains. You never see Ross and C again, nor Fenthaza, never personally. Though given that she's like a dream speaker for Dendar, you imagine she's the one responsible for the sacrifices. And I think at some point, like maybe days, months, who knows how long, some long time in, you're used to it by now, right? The sound of the gate opening makes you cringe in the way that it did the other prisoners who were first here, and so you've kind of like settled into that life. And one day, the sound is open, and the whining of the chain, and I think that you're all brought up, like all of the slaves, and the Yuan-Ti that are there with you. It's a mix of a bunch of them, Broodguard and Malisons, and it's a pretty big guard. And the person who has come to get you is Fenthaza. You see her again. And I'm going to show you her art again just because she's so fucking cool.
Because she's pretty.
Yeah, because she's rad looking. So there's Fenthaza, everybody. So she's there, and she looks at the group of you, and we see you. How, like, what do the characters look like now? Like, does anybody still kind of like look? How have you adapted? What does everybody look like? Malik, do you want to start? Do you have like just like your long hair and this like crazy beard from being the prisoner, or have you tried to like keep yourself together?
The hair would have done the same thing. Eventually, like folds in on itself into like a big matted like ponytail, probably most of it. And where he kept a goatee before, he like grows a full beard.
Okay.
He wasn't built before, but now he's kind of looking a bit emaciated. But yeah, I think his some of his dragon scales like kind of like fall off or like chip and stuff, and lose their color because he can't use his magic anymore.
Yeah,
he's like been such a long time. So he's looking like a bit more human, a bit more like frail.
Yeah, frail and human. Okay, cool.
He's not in a good way.
What does prisoner Arcturus look like? Do Tritons grow beards? Do you have like a wavy beard of kelp?
No, he doesn't have facial hair. I think what happens is that like the like kind of like oily sheen that you would see on like a oil on the like asphalt kind of like his scales and his skin and his hair get that kind of like oily. But I think that like being as he is, like there's still water here and he is like very religious and he can still cast guidance. So I feel like his like when he's down here, he still like does like a bunch of however you pray to his Titia and probably is still annoying to whomever is in the cave, the pit with him, and like maybe like if like the day that they get food, he'll like do, I don't know, he's very strong too, so like try to keep his strength up because he's like encouraged that like he's not meant to die here or else he'd be dead already. So yeah, I don't think he's not letting himself go. I can still cast spells. I have some. So I wouldn't use them until I needed it. Like if they forget to feed us for a couple of weeks, like maybe I would use my create food and water because I have one. But yeah, like I'm okay. I just look like I've been in a pit of muck for a while.
Okay. What about you, Ishi? Were you able to resist how long before the kobold nature of like just being the good prisoner sets in?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ishi is like the quickest to succumb to like that Stockholm syndrome sort of feeling where it's like, okay, I'm a prisoner. Like we'll deal with this until I'm not a prisoner. But she's also probably the easiest like bounce back. You know, it's one of those things where it's like her mentality is that you just like deal with what you're dealing with right now. And she's kept trying to do things. I bet over the course of this whole period of time, there have been a bunch of times where she's like slipped off for 5 minutes and then been captured again and tortured a second time, you know, or like that kind of stuff has happened a lot, I think. So, and I also think she's taken to like speaking to Nubub a lot more because she doesn't have a conversational partner down in her little pit. There's no one to talk to. So there's a lot of like talking to herself, but it's just talking to her pet, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're brought up from the pit, all three of you. Your friends are returned to their hole, but the three of you and Fenthaza and like her broodguard are with her, and she sees you. And
Arcturus has enough presence of mind to like try and like push his hair like back into some semblance of like tidiness.
And she says, "You three failed me once, but time is doing what you could not. The master, Ross and C, wishes to speak to you."
Okay.
I don't think I'm equipped to receive visitors. I need a bath and a rest and maybe some food.
Shut up. Yes, we will see him.
She nods. This way. But I think you know. And so the three of you are brought to Ross and C's chamber. It's just like throne room. But it is it's conspicuously empty. The throne has no Ross and C upon it. So from here, you can still see they couldn't wipe the floor clean enough. Like in the grout of the tiles, there's like blood from the fight still. like it just there's stains on the floor. There's chips in the pillars from where the champion's sword like bit into it. The whole place has kind of a sepulchral quality. And Fenthaza sees the two Malisons that are guarding the place, and there's some like brood guard around. Like they kind of linger. There's a sort of a weird vibe here that I think you can tell is like fearful or like there change is coming. It feels like a hospital. It feels like you're in like the hospice ward of a hospital. Like they're waiting for something that no one wants to happen. And Fenthaza says to one of the Malisons, "As the master demanded, I have brought the prisoners. You see, they are unarmed." And the Malison like looks at her like bitterly. There's a lot of tension in the room. And he reaches up and presses one of his hands, his human hands, because this would be really stupid if it was a snake arm. Presses it to a panel on the wall, one of the bricks, and pushes it in, and a door slides open. And you are reminded of the disappearing act that Ross and C pulled during that battle months ago. The sliding door opens, and Fenthaza gestures for you to pass beyond.
All right.
So we're meeting him in there.
And she, Fenthaza nods, and she says, "This is not for me." So you come in, and you can see the room as you see here, the sanctum of Ross and C. Shadows dance over this opulent bedchamber. Cushions lie in one corner, and decorative shields line the walls. And these shields are like ancient, like, and they all look like they've been like used in battle. Malik, you recognize them as being like early Omuan. And treasures you can see heaped about the room. Gold and silver coins, a gilded harp, a jeweled wine flask, pillows of silk and fine clothes, human clothes, draped over wooden mannequins. To the east, an engraved stone disc is set into the floor of an alcove, familiar to you. To the west, a rectangular steel plate mounted on the wall was at one point polished to a mirror-like sheen, but also bears deep gouges in it. Ross and C reclines on the pillows, And when you saw him before, he looked like a necromancer lord, right? Like he was bound in bandages, his snake body a dull russet color. I'll give you the Ross and see. I'll show you the handout again for everybody. So here's Ross, but he looks much worse now. His scales have turned almost translucent. In many places, they're missing altogether. His breathing is labored. I think that his left hand, all of the fingers have like sloughed off, so it's just like a mass of bandages. You can tell at a glance he's in no shape to cast magic spells anymore. He still wears all the gold like finery of the Lord of Omu, but his body is wrapped in bloody bandages. And at a glance, if he wasn't breathing, you'd think he was dead. And so he reclines here, and weakly he gestures, and one of the Malisons shuts the secret door behind you when you come in. His two like kind of major domos stand, and he looks up at you, and he says, "I instructed them to keep you alive. I wanted you to suffer for trying to kill me. But now I see it matters not."
No, it looks like we'll be surviving you after all. Unless you've reconsidered my offer the first time we spoke.
If Sararak has abandoned me, there will be nothing you can do. I wanted you brought here not to save my life, but to know what is to come for you and for all living things in Faerun. There is a doom growing beneath the jungle, fattened on souls. I once believed Sararak would spare me if I were loyal to him. And he starts coughing, and like he's overwhelmed by the sickness that's consuming him. And when he recovers, and then again, like this moment, the Malisons sort of tense up, like, "Oh, is this it?" And then it's not, and he says, "Sararak, in his way, is pure in a way I could never have been. A true servant of darkness. These Yuan-Ti are fools, worshipping their night snake, Dendar. There," and he looks at you when he says this, Arcturus, "there is only one God, and it is the void. Everything falls to it in the end. It cannot be stopped." And he gives you this grin like, "Sure, you win, be smug, but like, actually, you'll die too, and so will everything." And then he leans back, that monologue having drained him of some energy. Do you say anything? What do you do?
So if you're gonna die anyway, can we go? If we're gonna die anyway?
Don't you want these? And he holds his hand out, and on the bloodied bandages, you see the puzzle cubes that he took from the city above.
Yeah.
We don't have the other ones. We don't have anything of ours.
She's like, I'll take those, thank you, yes. So you scamper up and take them from
Yeah,
him?
if he's offering them to us, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take them.
And he says, your belongings, like this temple, like Omu, all the property of Fenthaza now. She thinks she's won. Let her. And so, yeah, like, he's like, I can't do anything. Like, your stuff belongs to her now, just like everything else. I lost. She won.
I guess I don't know what the point of all of this was.
The point of what, priest?
I don't know. You threatened us with death for trying to interfere with your great work or whatever that was, and then you're just going to die and hand it all over. You know, certainly there are people who could. Just seems like a waste.
What does? The end of a life? Do you think there's redemption for me? That I could be saved? Is that what you believe?
Not necessarily. I mean, if you fought so hard months ago, or however long it was, I really don't know. And now you're just giving it all up. It just seems like a change of character. But whatever.
I have danced with death for hundreds of years, seen her face in every shadow. I have cheated her enough times. And now, at the end, I realize she is the only queen worth bowing before. And in the end, we all do.
All right, Thanos.
He slumps like slightly, and he says, I have no reason left to fight. Take the cubes. And what you will from Fenthaza, if she will give it to you. Go. Seek out a Sararak's tomb. You will find within it only horrors and your own demise.
Sounds like staying here.
He nods. I will meet death here.
I have a quick question for you, Adam. I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
What was it that we promised the Naga? Did we say that we would kill him?
That you would end his reign, yeah. That you'd finish him off. But he's gonna die anyway, so you don't have to, it's not like you have to do anything. Like he's dead.
I just wondered if, like, because Arcturus, like, I mean, it was a vow, right? And there was like a magic part of it.
No, yeah, you're fine. If he dies, it's not. Yeah, you're not gonna get screwed out of it here.
I just wondered what, like, he would think. If it's just like he has to be gone, then it's fine. Like, you know, whatever.
What is it? What is this Acerak? What do we end in?
Sararak is a power greater than I had ever seen. He came to me promising vengeance, power, and for a time, I had it. I think that he has grown tired of this place and left us behind. A rotting poison in the heart of the earth. Perhaps he will come to harvest the corpses once we've all died. I was a fool. You cannot bargain with death.
So he just brought us here to be like, go.
Yeah, basically.
We're not planning to bargain.
You're not going to kill us.
And he shakes his head and he says, I finally understand now why Ubtao left this place. He knew if he stayed here, even gods can die. Fenthaza may have the Fane, pray to her Dendar, but in the end, it's all darkness. I want you to be free to meet your death as you see fit. And in the end, I hope you realize you cannot stave it off. It is coming for you. In a way, I admire your drive to seek it out. I was never brave enough.
Can't have realized this 3 months ago.
Well,
We'll go speak to Fenthaza. Thanks for the cubes. And I hope that your death is at least comfortable.
I mean, if it's painful, I can help.
He looks around and he says, I cannot imagine dying to be more painful than the life that I have lived. Go.
Cool.
Let me die in peace.
Just gonna go now.
Yeah. And then the Malison like reaches up and presses the panel, and the three of you go to leave the room. And I think the last shot of this part before you go to break, the last shot is of Russ and C just laying in his opulent nest, his opulent den, and breathing his last breath while these Yuan-Ti stare on at the foreign necromancer who led them for so long, finally gives up and is taken by death. And yeah, I think that's the shot. We see Russ and C, and then we fade to break. So now you're gonna have to talk to Fenthaza about getting your shit back and being allowed to leave. So we will have a conversation with Fenthaza, new Queen of Omu, chosen of Dendar, when we get back. Don't go anywhere. More after this.